Would you take Ashley and Tracy?
What? Mandy continued calmly with a forced smile.
After all, it's hard to remarry with a child in tow,
Mandy said loudly, laughing.
I'll leave the kid with developmental disabilities to a broke middle school dropout.
It was unbelievable as a mother that she would look down on me and call her own daughter a brat, pushing her onto someone else without any hesitation. I really wanted to slap her glittering, made-up cheek hard. But knowing her, she could turn it into a weakness to exploit. Then I will raise them. It was hard for me to say that, as if squeezing the words out. Even if Mandy was Ashley and Tracy's real mother, I would be better than someone so selfish. I silently vowed to myself to give Ashley and Tracy the love that Eric, who had passed away leaving them behind, would have wanted, and to make them happy no matter what. I am Grace Hanson, a 56-year-old housewife. Since my husband passed away recently, I've been living alone in this large house. I never thought he would pass away so soon. The sudden loss has left me with little motivation to even do housework. Eric must have been concerned about me because he suggested this.
Mom, if you're okay with it, let's live together. Ashley and Tracy would be happy too.
Ashley and Tracy are Eric's twin daughters, my dear granddaughters. I was genuinely happy about Eric's proposal, but I knew it was impossible because for some reason Mandy didn't like me. Thank you, your thoughts are enough. Sorry to worry you. If we talked about living together, Mandy would strongly oppose it. Even if she accepted, it was clear there would eventually be a conflict. I couldn't cause trouble for Eric and his wife. If I kept feeling down, I would only make Eric anxious. I had to pull myself together and gradually get back to my routine. Still, they must have been concerned. Eric's family visited our house often, always without Mandy.
Mandy seems busy,
Eric said hesitantly, but I guessed she probably didn't want to come.
Grandma, let's draw together. Tracy can draw well now. I'm 8 years old.
Well, this will be fun. I felt sorry for Mandy, but the time with my adorable grandchildren and Eric was very enjoyable. The next weekend, as usual, Eric's family came. When I opened the door with a smile, I froze. Surprisingly, Mandy was there. It's good of you to come, Mandy. Thank you. While I smiled in surprise, Mandy nodded silently with a serious face. Her displeased expression was evident, but what had she come for? Perhaps she was protesting that she let Eric and the children come over too often. I had inadvertently relied too much on Eric's kindness. When we were alone, I had to tell Eric, "You don't have to come anymore." That's what I was thinking, but it was hard to find a chance to talk to Eric about it.
Daddy, come here. Daddy, Ashley took Tracy's pen.
Eric seemed busy settling a fight between Ashley and Tracy. As a grandmother, a little mischief from the grandchildren was endearing, but it's hard for the parents. Remembering my own parenting days, I couldn't help but smile. Next to me, Mandy muttered,
What about the inheritance?
What? I blinked in surprise at the abrupt question, and Mandy repeated it with a slightly irritated tone.
I mean, your husband's inheritance. When do I get my share?
Inheritance? I was at a loss for words. After all, I had already passed on Eric's share. Didn't Eric tell you? It should have been given already. Choosing my words carefully, Mandy became even more annoyed.
I've only received Eric's portion. When will I get mine? I've been waiting and nothing, so I had to come and get it myself. Like life insurance, savings, stocks. Didn't your husband stash some away?
Mandy said, crossing her arms and frowning, but I was the one who wanted to frown. Mandy, as my daughter-in-law, wasn't supposed to have a share. We weren't close even when my husband was alive. We only met during holidays like Easter and Christmas. When Eric's family visited, it was often without Mandy. Unless my husband had left a will, I couldn't imagine him considering Mandy, who was practically a stranger. Oh well, Mandy, I'm sorry, but as a daughter-in-law, you don't have a share of the inheritance.
What? Seriously? Even though I'm a daughter?
Where did that confidence come from? Mandy's eyes widened, seemingly shocked to the core. Despite not showing any affection for her husband or acting like a daughter-in-law, I ended up being the more surprised one. Even if you say daughter, it's by marriage.
What's that? So annoying. You get my hopes up for nothing. What a waste of time coming here.
Upon learning she had no share, Mandy clicked her tongue and punched a nearby wall. The noise startled Eric and the grandchildren, who turned to look our way. Then Mandy snapped.
How long will you keep up this racket? Y'all really can't stay calm. Cut it out. Come on, we're going back now. Aw, but we just got here. Yeah, just go back alone, Mom.
The grandchildren raised their voices in displeasure, but Mandy glared at them sharply and stormed out, saying,
I don't care anymore.
Left behind, Eric sighed.
Again.
And started preparing to go home. The grandchildren were sulking, but Eric persuaded them, and reluctantly they followed Mandy, and Eric's family went home. I always knew she was a bit strong-willed, but was she always this terrible? She always shows her emotions openly and acts impulsively without regard for others. I worry about Eric and the grandchildren in such a state. Even putting my concerns aside, I can't see them building a healthy family like this. Surely, Eric has his own thoughts on this. Someday I want to have a calm discussion with Eric. Whether it's financial matters or taking care of Ashley and Tracy, I want to help in any way I can. I'll offer my help the next time we meet. Yet just days later, an unbelievable event came my way.
It happened in an instant.
On his way home from work, Eric was involved in a collision with a truck and died instantly. No, it can't be. It had only been a few months since my husband died, and now Eric was gone too. I collapsed in despair. At that point, nothing else mattered. Why Eric and not me? The children are still so young. All sorts of terrible thoughts swirled and compounded in my mind. The shock was so great that, embarrassingly, I barely remember the wake or the funeral. After everything was over and I had calmed down a bit, Mandy approached me.
About the children. Can we talk?
It's about Ashley and Tracy. Yes, I have been so caught up in my own issues I hadn't paid them enough attention. I feel like I comforted and hugged them, but I don't quite remember. Ashley and Tracy must be emotionally unstable after suddenly losing their father. After all, they are only 8 years old. I felt ashamed of my own indulgence in grief. Mandy must be considering the future as a mother. She's probably much more composed than I am. I definitely want Ashley and Tracy, whom Eric left behind, to be happy. I'm ready to help with anything to support that. About the children? Yes, whatever it takes. I looked into Mandy's eyes and nodded strongly. Even if our values and personalities don't match, we can surely get along for a common purpose. However, what came out of Mandy's mouth next was the exact opposite of what I expected.
Would you take Ashley and Tracy?
Huh? Mandy continued calmly with a forced smile.
After all, it's hard to remarry with children in tow.
Remarry? Eric had only just died, and his supposed wife was already thinking of remarrying. I stared at Mandy, dumbfounded. Unaware of my disdainful gaze, Mandy continued to speak.
Come on, Ashley and Tracy are a bit odd, right? They've always been hard to raise.
Odd? What do you mean? Both children are mischievous, but I've never thought of that as strange. Mandy laughed through her nose as if mocking me.
You haven't noticed, huh? Grandma is so carefree. Well, back in your day, there probably wasn't anything like developmental disorders.
Developmental disorders? I don't know much about them, but I've heard of them. They involve difficulties with communication and can lead to problems in learning and daily life. I think I saw a TV feature about it. Are Ashley and Tracy diagnosed with a developmental disorder?
They haven't been diagnosed, but Eric wanted to look into it, though I stopped him. It's embarrassing, right?
That's terrible. I don't know much about developmental disorders. I've only seen Ashley and Tracy when they've been at my house, and I've never had reason to suspect anything. But I heard that early intervention can make life easier for them. Mandy had denied them that opportunity just because she was embarrassed. Mandy, how can you still call yourself a mother? My voice grew louder without realizing it. Mandy looked at me with cold eyes as I trembled with anger.
Well, you probably wouldn't understand. What with your embarrassing past being poor and a middle school dropout.
What? I felt heat rush to my face. Seeing this, Mandy's lips curled into a pleased smile.
Ah, so you are embarrassed. Wow, that's unexpected. I thought you didn't care at all.
Mandy's words made my face grow even hotter. I was indeed raised by a single mother. Although I managed to graduate from middle school, my mother fell ill while I was in high school. Life became difficult, and I had to drop out. As a result, my highest education level is middle school. Before Eric and Mandy got married, Mandy was self-conscious about her educational background, so I mentioned mine, hoping to offer some support. I meant well, but perhaps I shouldn't have said anything. I'm not embarrassed about being a middle school graduate. It's the contempt from you that angers me.
Oh, is that so? Then that's perfect. If you're shameless, you can take care of those kids, right?
Mandy said this while chuckling.
I'll leave the kids with developmental disabilities to the broke middle school dropout.
As a mother myself, I couldn't believe it. It's one thing to look down on me, but to call her own daughters brats and push them onto someone else without a second thought? I really wanted to slap her glittering made-up cheek, but knowing her, she could use it against me as a weakness. Then I will raise them. It was hard to say that as I was squeezing the words out. After hearing my response, Mandy said, "Good," with a satisfied look, and left. Even if Mandy is Ashley and Tracy's real mother, I would be better than someone so selfish. In place of Eric, who had passed away leaving them behind, I vowed to myself to pour endless love into them and ensure their happiness. Later, I formally went through the procedures, and Ashley and Tracy were officially placed under my care. Even though I had decided to raise them in Eric's place, I was internally nervous because I hadn't discussed it with Ashley and Tracy. When I cautiously asked, "From now on, it won't be with Mom but with Grandma, Ashley, and Tracy. Is that okay?" Both of them nodded in agreement. However, I couldn't truly know their real feelings. I believed they had grown fond of me. Still, if it came down to choosing between their real mother and me, I wasn't confident they would choose me. But I can't leave Ashley and Tracy with Mandy after she said such things. Losing their father, Eric, and now having to live with their grandmother, how much of a burden was I imposing on these little ones? At least I must make their lives as secure and comfortable as possible. Fortunately, I had both time and financial flexibility. Being a housewife, I could manage my time flexibly, and thanks to the money left by my husband, we weren't struggling financially. However, Mandy's remark about developmental disabilities stayed in the back of my mind. Since then, I've learned a little and found out that caring for children with developmental disabilities requires a lot of patience and is quite challenging. Moreover, Ashley and Tracy are twins. Everything is doubled. What if they have a tantrum that I can't handle? Despite all the worries, our life as three began. At first, Ashley and Tracy were unstable, probably bewildered by the change in their environment. They would wake up at night and sometimes be unreasonably angry. What if they remained upset? They were still young and couldn't be reasoned with. I was anxious, but gradually the two of them began to calm down. In fact, after living together for a year, they started helping around the house on their own, competing to see who could do more. Whenever they did something well, I made sure to praise them. "Ashley, you're so good at folding laundry. And the corners are so neatly aligned, it feels great when putting them away. Tracy, you wash dishes so quickly and leave no residue. I'm amazed at how good you are. Thank you, Ashley and Tracy." Then the two of them would smile happily and hug me. Their expressions and actions were so adorable I couldn't help but praise them again. Oh dear, how can you two be so cute?
Maybe because we're your granddaughters? Because we love you, Grandma.
They no longer had tantrums, and their mischievous behavior had calmed down significantly. At a school conference, their teachers said as much.
"Honestly, I'm surprised. They calmed down a lot compared to last year. Problematic behaviors? None at all. According to their previous teacher, there were a lot of issues and warnings last year, but now they play well with other friends and seem to be enjoying themselves."
Had time done this? Anyway, it was good that they were doing well. I felt truly relieved. Since taking them in, Mandy hadn't contacted us at all. As a mother, didn't she wonder a bit about how her daughters were doing? What kind of life her important daughters were leading? What kind of growth they were achieving? As a mother, she would want to see that with her own eyes. If Mandy ever contacted us saying, I want to see them, unless Ashley and Tracy refused, I was prepared to let them meet. Though I was forced to take them, I had no intention whatsoever of taking them away from Mandy. But not even a single email or phone call came from Mandy. Meanwhile, Ashley and Tracy never mentioned Mandy's name, but I didn't know when they might start missing Mandy. If they ever asked, I was ready to handle it properly. I was braced for it, but Mandy's name never came up, and before I knew it, 10 years had passed. Ashley and Tracy turned 18, and both decided to go to college. Ashley, who excelled in sports, showed her prowess in tennis, which she started in high school and was recruited by a college with a strong tennis team. Tracy, who was interested in medicine, studied diligently and was admitted to the same college's medical school. I was so proud of them for choosing their own paths. But at the same time, I felt a bit lonely. Ashley and Tracy, who had been so small, were becoming more and more independent and learning to live on their own. I was happy they had grown up so well. While I felt this, it was sad to see them fly the nest. When they left home to go to college, we hugged and cried together. Both of you, make sure to contact me if anything happens. I'll come running anytime.
Thank you. I'm more worried about you, Mom. I'll come home during the long holidays. I'll call too. Don't overdo it, Mom. Even if you think you're young, you're not that young anymore.
Somehow, both of them had started calling me Mom. I felt presumptuous and tried to correct them at first, but they wouldn't listen, saying,
But you're the only mom for us.
And that has continued to this day. Yes, thank you. Ashley and Tracy, you both make me so proud. Even after starting their university life, both seemed to be doing well. Ashley participated in a national tennis tournament, and Tracy maintained top grades. They really have grown up to be admirable. Just when I was deeply moved, thinking the day they would be independent was near, I received a call from an unexpected person. It was Mandy.
Long time no see.
Though I had forgotten her voice, hearing her unique way of speaking immediately brought her face to mind. Long time no see. What can I do for you? As I slowly responded, I could hear Mandy chuckling on the other end of the phone.
Oh, don't be so tense. I just wanted to thank you, mother-in-law.
Thank you for what?
For Ashley and Tracy.
Mandy sounded extremely cheerful.
They seem to have turned out quite impressive. A national athlete and a top student future doctor, huh? Makes me proud as a mother.
After she had easily abandoned them, now she was playing the mother card, which was infuriating. I almost snapped back reflexively, but managed to restrain myself. More importantly, how did Mandy know about the girls? How do you know about them? Don't tell me you've met them. Could it be that they had met secretly without telling me? Anxiously, I asked, and Mandy denied it.
Of course not. I just saw it flow through it on social media. At first, I didn't recognize them by face alone, but then I read about the miracle twins. I took a closer look and thought, isn't that Ashley and Tracy? Oh, I was so surprised.
She didn't seem to be lying. I don't use social media, so I had no idea.
Actually, my current boyfriend runs a video site. He wants to feature them.
What?
So can I get their contact information?
After more than 10 years without any contact, and this is what she says? Essentially, she wants to use Ashley and Tracy as a spectacle. I wanted her to stop joking around. I have to ask them first. I can't just give it away without their permission.
It's fine. I'm their mother, you know. They'll definitely be happy.
No, I can't. Not without their consent. Mandy seemed annoyed and fell silent for a moment. But soon she casually started talking again.
All right then. Ask them soon. If you don't, I'll keep calling.
Understood. I was reluctant, but it's true that Mandy is their mother. It's about them. It's fine. They will surely say no. I reassured myself and contacted Ashley and Tracy. Their response came quickly, but it perplexed me.
Just give her my messaging app ID. I have something I want to talk about too. Ashley says she'd handle it, so I thought it wasn't necessary, but if you give out mine too, just use the messaging app.
As a result, both agreed to share their contact information. This was unexpected for me. Since they said so, I couldn't object. Reluctantly, I gave Mandy Ashley's ID.
Thank you.
That reply marked the end of our conversation. Later that night, Ashley contacted me.
I'm going to meet her next week. Just letting you know, Mom.
Eh? With Mandy? Why? When?
Next Sunday. Tracy will be there too, so it's fine.
Ashley said it casually, without any sign of tension or confusion. If that's how she feels, I shouldn't interfere. Though I understood I couldn't help but speak up. Can I come too?
Huh? Sure, but it's near our university, so it's far for you.
I won't interfere. I can even just watch from a distance. I didn't know what Mandy had told them, but there was a chance her current boyfriend might come along. If Mandy tried anything, I wanted to be there to intervene immediately.
You worry too much, Mom. I'll let you know once the time and place are set.
Thank you. The next day, Ashley sent me the details, and I began preparing immediately. On the day of their meeting with Mandy, I took a train, where their university was located. The meeting with Mandy was set for the afternoon, so we met in the morning, had lunch, and spent some time together for the first time in a while.
It's about time. Shall we go?
Mandy had chosen a park near the university. While the girls waited in a cafe inside the park, I sat on a nearby bench to watch. Mandy showed up about 30 minutes late. Next to Mandy was an unfamiliar man, likely her current boyfriend. Before they joined us, the man was already holding a camera.
It's been so long. Ashley, Tracy. Oh, how I've missed you. I can recognize you instantly, even after 10 years. My precious treasures.
With an enchanted voice, Mandy rushed to embrace the two. It seemed like a touching reunion after 10 years. The man was ready with his camera, not wanting to miss the moment. Just as Mandy was about to touch Tracy, Tracy quickly stepped back, and Mandy ended up embracing empty air.
Huh? Ashley, what are you doing? Don't tell me you've forgotten I'm your mom, right?
Mandy blinked incredulously. The man beside her kept the camera raised, but seemed puzzled.
What am I doing should be your line. After 10 years, we're practically strangers, and you try to hug us right away. That's crazy.
As Tracy spoke with a sigh, Mandy's face turned red.
Ashley, I'm sad. Is it because of your grandmother's influence? Since when have you become so harsh? The Ashley I know was kinder, more like me.
Ashley started to chuckle at this, and Mandy turned around with her face still red.
Hey, Tracy, what's so funny?
Well, because you don't get it at all.
Huh? What don't I get?
With a snort, Mandy demanded an answer, and Ashley replied coolly. I'm Ashley. You've been talking to Tracy this whole time. You can recognize us at a glance. Recognize what? Mandy clenched her teeth and fell silent. To me, the difference between Ashley and Tracy is so obvious, but it seems hard to tell them apart at first glance for twins. Mandy was visibly frustrated, about to erupt, but the man whispered something to her, and she seemed to regain her composure.
Sorry about that. It's been a while, so I got you mixed up. But Mom is so happy to see you both.
Mandy smiled, trying to lighten the mood, and reached out to Ashley and Tracy again. However, they quickly brushed her hands away. Mandy's face contorted for a moment, but she quickly returned to a forced smile.
Now that's mean. Maybe you're just shy. If that's the case, it can't be helped, can it?
Mandy made excuses to the camera. Ashley suddenly pointed at the camera. Is this being broadcast live? You guys are the couple who posts videos, right? At Ashley's comments, Mandy's face lit up.
Yes, that's right. You knew? I'm so happy.
You always go viral for controversial stuff, right? I was shocked when a friend showed me. It's so trivial.
Huh?
Ignoring Mandy's frown, Tracy agreed with Ashley.
Me too.
It was so cringe-worthy to watch. Grown adults clinging to each other, talking trash, always stirring up controversy. Ugh, I'd be embarrassed to do that.
What did you say?
Mandy trembled with a face like a demoness.
Also, recently, you've been trying to stir up even more controversy, but it hasn't been working, has it? So what, you thought you'd ride on our coattails to get some attention? Aren't you tired of leeching off people? Shut up, you!
Ashley! A loud slap echoed, and my cheek started to burn with delayed pain. I fell to the ground from the force.
Mom!
Ashley and Tracy both knelt by my side. Mandy was pointing at us, hysterically screaming all sorts of abuses.
After being abandoned by me, raised by a poor middle school dropout. Don't get so cocky. You guys aren't worth going viral. I just thought I'd use you because it was convenient. You're just developmental disabilities anyway. You'll end up falling in life anyway.
Mandy ranted breathlessly, then caught her breath, looking wild. She exchanged glances with the man and suddenly turned pale.
That's not what I mean. It's different. I just lost my head for a moment. It's not what I really think.
To say such awful things so smoothly if it's not what you really think? I struggled to stand up, and Mandy looked flustered. It's really good that you gave these children to me.
How dare you, treating children like objects?
Mandy looked around nervously, perhaps aware of the camera. Well, you were the one who said, I'll leave the kids with developmental disabilities to the poor middle school dropout.
Don't say such things in front of the person.
These kids are smart. They understand everything. They know you only saw them as nuisances, only valuable for your use. That's why both were always closer to Eric.
If I had known they would turn out so well, I would have raised them myself. You just stole that from me. How dare you? That's not true.
Yeah, it's not. Ashley and Tracy stood protectively in front of me.
If we had been raised by you, we wouldn't have the fulfilling life we have now. You don't know that.
I understand. Back then, Dad was busy, and we spent more time with you, so we were acting out. According to them, Mandy had mostly neglected them and even refused to listen to them after school.
Back then, I was always acting out because I wanted your attention, but it's been different since we've been living with Mom. Yeah, Mom really saw us.
Ashley, Tracy. Smiling warmly, the two squeezed my hand tightly.
You handed us over to Mom. That's the one thing I'm thankful to you for. What? Mom. I'm the one who gave birth to you. She's just some old lady.
Mandy, getting heated, grabbed my collar, but a police officer who had arrived stopped her. Apparently, a bystander who saw the commotion had called them.
Don't come near us ever again. Well, it seems you won't be able to for a while anyway.
As the police officers and the man restrained her, Mandy glared at them bitterly. Later, Mandy and the man were cautioned at the police station. The park required a permit for filming, yet they had been streaming without one. Additionally, her actions of slapping me and her tirade were streamed live, leading to the deletion of her account. Originally, she had a reasonable number of followers, but Mandy and the man were identified and harassed by people around them, forcing them to move. With the account deletion leading to a loss of income, they are barely getting by with loans from financial companies for moving and living expenses. Unable to see a way to repay, they are caught up in debt collection, struggling to make ends meet. Truly, they brought this upon themselves. After such an incident, I was concerned about Ashley and Tracy's mental well-being, but both seemed unfazed.
What she says doesn't affect us at all.
Exactly. Our mom is our only mom. It's actually refreshing that we don't have to deal with her anymore. How reassuring. Though they live separately now, every long holiday they come home and beg me to cook. It's really sweet and makes me happy that they can still show their affection so openly. I think to myself that I need to live a long life to continue watching over their futures.